What do you call it when the person who looks like your mother and sounds like your mother reports that she's waiting for a call from the Jewish mafia, or gets arrested for threatening people with knives? When she tells you that her roommate du jour turns tricks all night long. I call it dementia, and it sucks. At the turn of the century, I was a self-employed graphic artist living in northern New Jersey. My parents were living large in retirement in southeastern Florida. My father, Herbie, was a very sharp, funny guy. My mom, Roz, was his biggest fan. Herb and I spoke on the phone at least once a week. He wasn't just my father. He was my friend. Everything sounded great until we went down to see them. In March of 2003, my father was 75 and failing fast. He had several cross-complicating illnesses that were causing him distress. The worst had to do with his mind. His short-term memory was evaporating. We had to step in. We persuaded them to move north so we could help them. As I shuttled them from specialist to specialist, the news became more and more dire. Herbie was in deep trouble, and he knew it. He was no longer the person he valued being and did not want to live that way. This began my caregiving journey with my parents. In very short order, I had to learn about geriatric illnesses, Medicare, long-term care, medications, dementia, finance, care options, and making tough decisions under a great deal of pressure. It was an eye-opener. My father died in July 2004 at age 76. Mom wanted to go back to Florida soon after to resume independent living. She had friends nearby, and we took every opportunity to visit and support her. That lasted a couple of years until she started having issues. A heart attack in 2006, gallbladder surgery in 2009, and finally, cognitive decline. We brought her back to New Jersey in February of 2010. I watched in fascination as my mother devolved, and when it became clear she could no longer live independently, I brought her back to her apartment in Florida in October of that year. I knew it was the beginning of the end for her. And being alone with her for so many hours in that depressing apartment she and my father had once shared, I felt the acute need to write. And I thought, maybe what I'm learning here could have value for others. What the hell? I'll create a blog. I kept up the writing and blogging for 5 years until just after April 14th, 2015, the day Rosie died. After 8 months on hospice, the day after she exhausted her long-term care policy, on what would have been her 64th wedding anniversary. On the first anniversary of her passing, I revisited my blog posts. Once I started reading, I couldn't stop. I was captivated by the story, as if it was someone else's. I was amazed at how much I'd forgotten in the heat of crisis. I laughed a lot. I cried. I got chills. And I was so glad I had this detailed account of my life as a caregiver. And I realized I can really write. And it hit me. The book I've needed to write is already written. And so, Dementia Sucks was born. It's not just about dementia. It's about family. It's about pets. It's about having a life and carrying on when you don't think you can. And it's about finding the humor in lousy situations and compassion for yourself and your own well-being. I want people to know how hard it is to be a caregiver. I encourage them to prepare for it and give them some tips to help them overcome the hurdles to get through it intact. I hope you'll check out the sample chapters of Dementia Sucks. And if you choose to purchase a copy, I hope you'll read it and let me know what you think. Thanks so much for watching.